And then you have the ones that, well, I'm definitely not going vegan. I'm not ready for that, and I'm not going to do it. And I said, oh, who said anything about vegan? We're talking about getting our body back balanced, getting rid of, inflammation, heavy metals, toxins, relieving that from the body. And then you do what you want to do after the 21 days is over. And I already know what's going to happen in 21 days. Totally transformation.
Hey, Empowered Vegan Lifers. This is Ella, and I'm here with my co-host. Hey, Stephanie, what's going on?
Hey, Ella. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I was trying to find my pants.
Ooh, does this mean you're not wearing any pants right now?
No, I'm wearing pants, but it was pretty dire. I mean, I like a pantsless Sunday just like anybody else, but I didn't feel like I could actually record without my pants on.
Oh,
even though nobody
could.
would see it. I could, but then I would tell on myself just like I am now, just to, relieve my pantsless anxiety.
I just had an idea.
Is that going to be our next challenge?
I'm not even kidding.
Let's do the pantsless burpee challenge.
Whoa, no, that's a little more extreme than I was thinking. I was just saying.
Okay, good.
I was just thinking we should totally record a podcast naked, or at least pantsless.
Okay.
Because I guess we are doing the video from the top up, so maybe for that sake, we can keep a top on. But I can imagine that being a very freeing thing if we do it together as a couple.
As a couple, we should be naked.
Oh, this is getting interesting.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Our friend Tammy has a podcast, Naked and Married. And I love that name, but maybe we could be naked and vegan.
I love it.
Oh, gosh.
Speaking of challenges.
Yes, we've had some exciting ones.
We have had some exciting ones, and yesterday was the last day of the Vegan Quickie Recipe Challenge, which was originally titled the Vegan Quickie Challenge, and then I was told that maybe I should throw the recipe part in there too, so we did. But wow, what between that and then the Burpee and Green Challenge that we did before that, and for this last challenge, we're going to put together an ebook with all these original, quick and easy, healthy vegan recipes. We are on that right now, and it's so cool. I mean, people got so creative.
Oh, I know. It's been a delicious week. I've spent the whole week hungry because all of those recipes have been beautiful and delicious and creative. And I can't wait for this ebook.
Yes, it's going to be phenomenal. And it gave me a few more ideas, actually, Stephanie, and those of you listening, for our Vegan Life Coach Academy membership, which is coming up very quickly. In fact, these challenges are a way to give you guys a feel for what it's going to be like to be a part of Vegan Life Coach Academy. And we are going to do a challenge every month in there in the group, and people are just loving it. We're eating it up.
Yes, literally
eating it up.
Yes.
Between the exercise and the mindset and the nutrition, and that's what it's all about, is putting it all together. And that's what we're going to do for our very last of this series, the last challenge we're doing that's coming up. When this comes out, we'll be making the announcement. So let's not talk about it in detail right now, but when this comes out, it'll be about the time that we'll be making that announcement for the next challenge. And we're really going to give you guys a taste of what it's going to be like to be a part of the membership, because wow, this is, I can hardly stand it that I'm not spilling the beans right now, but I'm not. So let's,
I'm surprised. We're both kind of bean spillers, really.
Oh, it's so hard to keep a secret.
It's so hard, but this is a good one. So we gotta keep our mouth shut.
Yes. And last thing I'll say about this for now, you guys, is that We will be opening for enrollment the last week of July. This is not an open enrollment type of a membership in that you can just come in and join anytime. We really want to get a group in and keep it a tight-knit, really cohesive group that we get to know each other. We bond in this group. So we're doing it a little bit differently. So if you want to make sure to be notified when we do open up, make sure that you go to the link that we are posting to get on the wait list so that you'll be the first to be notified. It's veganlifecoachacademy.com/join. And that'll take you to the wait list so you don't miss out, because we will then be closing it for several months before we open it back up again.
Yeah, absolutely. So get in while you can.
Get in while you can. And what's up for today, Stephanie?
You know, I am so excited for our listeners to hear this episode. We have a really fantastic guest who has just a super fascinating story of her own healing and the health movement, really, that she's creating here in Kansas City, in my hometown, as well as the African American community. Her name's Annette Jones, but she's better known as Gigi the Vegan.
Gigi the Vegan. Yes, yeah. This is so exciting, and for a couple of reasons. Right. A few weeks ago, we were brainstorming ways that we can be effective in helping to promote Black voices. And we decided that we should invite and feature members of the Black community to be a part of our podcast, to use our platform to promote their messages.
Yes. Yeah. And one of the things that really struck me during our conversation was the way in which Black women entrepreneurs are leading the way in vegan businesses here in Kansas City. And Gigi came instantly to mind. I came to know Gigi through her line of kale chips. She has spicy kale chips, cheesy kale chips. I mean, they're delicious. And I happened to upon them at a natural grocer's on my way to a baseball game. Now she's expanding. And this week of her birthday, she is opening Gigi's Vegan Cafe, where she will not only be cooking up delicious and healing meals, but also growing her own produce and providing a sanctuary for healing through meditation and other types of practices. And she's just a beautiful soul, and she is not afraid to tell her own story, as well as talk about the hard issues when it comes to really stark health statistics among the Black population of our country.
Well, happy birthday, Gigi.
Yeah.
Great. First of all, happy birthday. Yes. I'm so excited that we get to put this out on the week of her birthday and her opening. Yes. And I remember you calling me, Stephanie, after your first phone call with Gigi, and you were on fire.
I know, it's true. It's true. I really wish that we would have recorded that first phone conversation, because it was truly just a meeting of the minds. We're just kind of kindred spirits. We had so much to talk about, and we were just excited to meet one another. So I had blocked off about like 20 minutes of time for our phone conversation that morning, but we ended up talking for over an hour. And I can't wait for everyone to hear her remarkable story. But I'm also really excited to dive into some of the issues at hand. And I think this really opens up the conversation concerning some systemic issues which have led to inadequate education and healthcare in our Black communities. And this in turn has created a generational pattern that Gigi is really committed to changing in her community. And I think that's one of the really important and exciting parts of her business.
And you know what's really remarkable to me about Gigi is that it's her commitment to health and wellness for all, but also her commitment to the Black community to bridging that gap. Mm-hmm. I think you say, Stephanie, bridging the gap in that equality in this episode. Mm-hmm. And that she's doing through veganism. And it's really the most compassionate way of living on so many levels.
Yeah, yeah. And Gigi really lives it. First bringing that compassion to herself and her own healing, and now to the Black community, all of Kansas City, all the world, really. And I just can't wait for our listeners to meet her.
Me too. Let's get to it.
Let's do it. Okay. Hi, empowered vegan lifers. This is Stephanie, and I have an amazing guest with us today. Here in Kansas City, Black women are leading the way in the vegan entrepreneurship. Annette Jones, better known as Gigi the Vegan, has made it her mission to bring health and wellness to all of Kansas City. Her Facebook page states her mission as helping people to live their best lives through delicious experience. I just love that. And she is doing just that through her vegan soul food Sundays, line of vegan kale chips, 21-day detox, and the grand opening of Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe on July 16th in Westport in Kansas City. Gigi, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
You know, I have a little confession to make to our listeners and to you. This morning, my daughter and I, we work out together every morning, and we were having breakfast afterwards, and I was telling her all about you, and she said, "Mom, you're geeking out on Gigi the Vegan." And I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am, my friend. Yes, I've got just a little bit of a vegan girl crush on Gigi the Vegan." And she got me.
That is so wonderful. That's wonderful to hear. That is
Yeah.
me.
Oh, I love that. I'm glad. You have the most inspiring and fascinating story of how you came to your mission. Would you mind sharing that with us and with our listeners today?
Absolutely. Well, in June, of August of 2015, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And of course, my doctor wanted me to have surgery, and also, you know how families are. They love us and want the best for us. And but my soul, I felt God speaking to me and said that this was not my path, that I needed to find another alternative, because at that time I had a lot of stress in my life. I was dealing with a lot of different things and really wasn't conscious of how I was eating. I wasn't truly taking care of myself like I should have, but I thought I was doing the best that I could under the circumstances. I decided to educate myself on cancer and ways of how to make my body stronger for surgery, what I should be doing, what I should be eating just to prepare myself for the surgery. And but here we are, as far as, I just decided to heal myself holistically, because I needed to really focus on myself. And I knew that the surgery would just put a Band-Aid on, and I would go back to whatever caused it in the first place. And for me, I decided to live a all raw vegan lifestyle. By doing that, I incorporated, I learned a lot about sprouting, how to sprout our foods, what our foods are, how our food is grown. I learned about how to combine different herbs together to heal our body. And Lord and behold, a couple of years later, I have been given a clean bill of health. I also changed the way I thought. I think that by changing my diet, it really helped me as far as my thought process now, my stress level, all of those things kind of, they work together. You think that, changing your diet. No, it's more to it than just that. And once I did that, it changed my entire environment, organically. So it pretty much changed my entire life and my lifestyle. And since then, learning that, I decided to help others. I went to receive training through Hipparcrates Health Institute, as well as Dr. Campbell, and got certified in health and wellness. And here I am. So, this it wasn't an easy journey for me, but it the journey that I needed to take to make myself whole again. And being whole again, meaning, just my spirit feels good. My soul feels good. I'm here having another opportunity to do things over again with my children, my grandchildren, and inspiring them to change, and live their best selves through their lives.
Wow. I read one of your articles, and I thought, and so I'd love to just talk to you just a little bit about this. It said, I had allowed fear, stress, toxic relationships, and bad eating habits to inflict the ultimate damage on my health. That's impactful.
Absolutely. And, we do. I know that a little while ago we were talking a little bit about COVID.
Yes.
Or we came on and how, I can only imagine how some of us are suffering because of not being able to get out, and we're in, and some of us are alone with the support of family and friends, and the anxiety, the fear, all of these different things. Our cells can hear that, and then they go into that state of allowing disease to come into our bodies, because it starts to, I'm sure you very well know this, that not just the aging process, but disease, it puts our body at a dis-ease state. And so I'm trying to remember to make sure I answer your question, because I would go on and on.
Well, please do. Please do. I love it. I love what you're saying. I particularly love that mind-body connection. One thing that we are in our coaching program that we are so specific about is that the mindset work.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the hard work.
The hard work.
Yeah.
And the mindset, the mind is, so used to doing things a certain way. And the mind, I tell you, can make you, or, I always say can make or destroy you, but it's having your mind made up to really focus on taking care of ourselves, loving ourselves again. We live in this state of being where, a lot of us are experiencing divorce. Children are growing up or having children, and all of those things play a role in really being present in our lives spiritually, like you were saying, mentally and physically as well. Yeah. So we just really have to take that love back. And I said the important for me, it was through meditation. When we talk about spirit, I had to reconnect with self and source, God, all of, that spiritual connection. I really focused on getting that back. And in doing so, I learned to be still and meditate and get centered and feel my own essence. And what I'm trying to say is that we are so busy, and we're so busy in taking care of other people and about ourselves. And so I always tell people when they start on a new journey or lifestyle, or even just so small changes, the first thing that we have to do is really spend time with ourselves, get quiet, give that, fill yourself up with so much love for oneself, and then you can distribute that to others. If you don't have anything to give, then how can you give something you don't have? And that still goes back to lifestyle change as well. Yeah. Because in the spirit, and the spirit is the connection to the love and the self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we work with our minds,
Yeah.
do the mind work. And once we become centered and quiet and at a state of peace within the spirit, and then we'll allow the mind to settle. That monkey mind that tells you what you ain't and what you can't do, and how you sick, you tired, you ugly, all these different things. It tries to tell you, which it is bad. It's really love and positive. It's just that conditioning that has taken place with us over the years through either ourselves, our childhood, or workplace, wherever it happened, divorce. But taking that back, and the first step is to figure out a way that you can be quiet, be still, spend time with self, and get that spiritual connection back with yourself. And then the mind will come and settle and listen to those positive things that you will fill it up with. Start filling that up, then you're ready for the next phase. It's the, soul, mind, body, we talked about. It's the, I always say that's when it connects itself to food.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
And then we're back at a balance, a state of balance, a state of wholeness, and a state of,
Mm-hmm.
That has been, it's still a journey, it's still a journey that I'm on. And I'm so happy that I was able to understand this. And through a lot of it was self-taught. And I tell you what, once you start just sitting with God, you'll be amazed what that energy and what God will, the messages that God gives you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, absolutely. And it goes back to mind, body, and spirit, and that connection. And I think that if I didn't connect those things, then this would have been possible for me. But again, everyone have their own journey, and I think that God has given us all purpose. We have a purpose to be. And for me, I found my purpose. I discovered my purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so talk to me about what makes you a successful businesswoman based on that purpose.
I feel great. I feel like it's not work for me. It's not work. Job. It doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like something that I'm supposed to do. And I never get tired of doing it. And I feel honored to be able to assist people in their lifestyle goals and in changes that they want to make in their life, and to inspire others. A lot of us are still conditioned to how we were taught as kids, and our parents said this, and the way that we live, and especially in the African American community, it is devastating. It's really has taken its toll on us when you look at how blood pressure, diabetes, and the list kind of goes on. And the business that I have, you were saying about entrepreneurship, that it feels so good. I feel like I have, like I mentioned, the purpose and the drive and the spirit, being connected to that spirit. I just feel that I love doing what I do. I really do. And I love hearing people, say, oh, I'm off this medication. I feel so great. Thank you, Gigi, and the referrals that I receive, and and I know that I'm making an impact in this world,
Yeah.
and it really feels good.
Yeah. Let's go back to something that you said, because a couple of weeks ago when we talked for the first time, and we had, I mean, we should have recorded that conversation. We had, I mean, it was what, 45 minutes of us just just discussing the world, really. And one of the things that you said that really struck me, and I want to get it right because I wrote it down verbatim, and I think it's so important today, given the state of the world right now, and particularly that finally everyone's listening, right? And one of the things that you said is, I know Black Lives Matter, but I think Black health matters. That's
Absolutely.
a really bold statement.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Impactful.
Yes. I said that because it goes back to what I just mentioned about the African American community and our health is we're at I call it a state of what is that I want to say of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
We really, when you look at COVID, we're dying by the numbers there. When you look at all of these different, when you look at diabetes, the list kind of goes on. We're leading those numbers, and I really think that I hear on so many cases of now the fear of going to see a doctor because of a lot of things that have happened in the past when it comes to African Americans.
Yeah.
Then we still living in that generational, what I just mentioned, that whole generational gap of soul food. Let's just say soul food. Still eating ham hocks and all of these fatty, unhealthy food. That goes on within our community, and we have to get educated. That if mama or grandma or mima, I'm just calling it what it is, died of high blood pressure and diabetes, 9 times out of 10, if you keep eating this way or living this lifestyle, this is what's going to happen to you or our future generation. The generational curse has to stop.
Yeah.
Being uneducated, this is what happens. So for me, I think that there has to be a focus on Black healthcare because Black healthcare matters, and it really does. And it's through I've really thought about, hey, I really need to get a group of women together that know about this, know about how food heals and this different transformation. We need to be out here as well.
Yeah.
Part of a march and handing out it.
Yes.
And distributing education, because why are we leading in numbers when it comes to COVID? How is that? What is it that we're not doing? And I know when you look at from vitamin deficiency, vitamin D, B12, all of these different things that we don't know about and we don't educate ourselves about. How do we, there has to be a platform that we can utilize to go on and say, okay, now I know. Or if you have questions, who do you go to with those questions?
Right.
How do you get questions answered? Who do you go to for information? And so I really believe that there should be a platform available for the African American community when it comes to how can we, what do we need to do to really help ourselves when it comes to Black Health Matters, because it.
Yeah, the statistics are stark. Just as you said, I wrote a few down. 40% of African American men are hypertensive, and that's up 4% for African American women, 44%. 37% of men struggle with obesity, 56.1% African American women, and that's all over the age of 20. But African American, and just as you said, heart disease and cancer, diabetes. You know, and I think work really needs to be done to close that equity gap.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, yeah. And I love that you're talking about that platform. You're creating that platform.
Yes, absolutely. You know, that I'm just here as a vessel to do the work. You know, the work, the information that I have, I just want to be able to give that to my community, and not just my community, but beyond. Because, you know, going and receiving the education that I received, I would be in the same place that I was, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. And more likely, I probably wouldn't be here right now speaking to you if I didn't change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I said, I just felt God saying to me, if I choose this direction, which was surgery, that I would truly die. So, yeah. But what I needed to do was to fix what caused this to happen to me in the first place. You know?
Yeah.
Because if I had surgery later on, I would be fine. I already know, okay, not to do this, the stress, how do I reduce stress? The choices that I was making in food, you know, I thought escargot was the best, healthiest meal that you can have. Love fat, unsaturated fat. But, you know, and then the relationship that I had in my life, you know, I was dating someone who was quite toxic, you know, and wasn't supportive, and that was stressful enough.
Yeah.
And then I had a business located downtown Kansas City, and I had approved the streetcar, and it was coming, and the crane sat in front of my store for 2 years. You know, $0 was selling just about all of my assets, and I was dying slowly. It was, and I really believe that this having cancer was what saved my life. You know, it saved.
Yes.
Because I think that, you know, I would have given myself maybe about a year, and I was no longer. Wouldn't be here. And I can truly say it truly saved my life. Yeah. It made me change my life, you know?
Yeah.
It really focus on me and the love for self and the love for self-worth. And I had me to go out and seek information that I probably would have never done. It had me to seek education on nutrition, proper nutrition, holistically, about, you know, herbal medicine, plant medicine.
Yeah.
Right in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the seed down there to grow. And that's where we eat from. That's, you know, when you talk about protein, when you talk about vitamins and minerals, we get it right from the soil.
And now you're bringing that to others.
Exactly. And that's my mission. You know,
one thing that I have to tell people, because we laughed about this when we were talking, is that you trick them into being vegan. I hope I'm not revealing things to your future clients, but that was one thing that you said.
Now I won't say hear your podcast, but the interesting thing is I started doing this 21-day detox. And what it does is that it helps people to rid the body of heavy metals, when you look at heavy metals as well as toxic food, and so on and so forth. And what we do is we go on this 21-day journey. And in the 21-day journey that we go on together, there is a meal plan that is, of course, 8 a.m. you wake up and you're done eating by 7 o'clock, between 6 and 7. And then you have an affirmational journal that you read every day. And what happens is that people that join the group have said, well, Gigi, I'm not going vegan. I want to do your detox, but if it's vegan, I'm not going to do it. And then you have the ones that, well, I'm definitely not going vegan. I'm not ready for that, and I'm not going to do it. And I said, oh, who said anything about vegan? We're talking about getting our body back balanced, getting rid of, inflammation, heavy metals, toxins, relieving that from the body. And then you do what you want to do after the 21 days is over. And I already know what's going to happen in 21 days. Totally transformation.
Yeah.
So usually gotten through the 21-day program, and at the end, when we have graduation, step in the room and tell them that they've been vegan for 21 days. Hey, no, I wasn't vegan. And the food is so delicious that I don't even talk vegan. And usually they have gone on and still vegan to this day. So I have several clients that would tell you that, and it is really hilarious and funny, but at the same time, we're changing people's lives, and they feel so great afterwards, and they had no idea that they were actually vegan. That's my little secret. So
I love that, and I just busted that secret wide open. I'm so sorry.
So that 1-day challenge and have no idea. We don't discuss vegan. We don't say anything about vegan. And we just really talk plants, food, and then there's meditation and affirmations, daily affirmations, morning and evening. And and then there's a huge graduation.
I love it. I love it. So one thing, and I'm using your words here again, but okay. I read an article about you, and it said, and this was your quote. It's beautiful. I want to leave a legacy for my grandchildren. And that's what this is about. I want them to be inspired by my entrepreneurship and know that they can create what it is that they want to do. Whatever their heart desires, they can do it.
Absolutely.
I want to know, Gigi, tell us how we can best support you in these missions.
I think, back to my grandbabies, I have 2 that's middle schools this year, and they're really inspired by what I do. They get really excited about, at first, when I set the girls down and kind of talk to them about that I was diagnosed with cancer in 2015 and how I was going to try to heal myself holistically first. And if that didn't work, then I would have surgery. And one burst into tears, of course, and the other said, well, Gigi, I'll be here to support you, and hugged each other. We tell I talk to these little girls, they're just so simply amazing. And then afterwards, here we are. And they did a little video and said how their Gigi, healed herself naturally. And then they tell the story about the foods that I eat and everything. They're so simply amazing. But, to me, when this is over and said and done, It's really all about our children, not just my children, but others within the community. Because, again, this is a legacy for them. This is something for, I want to inspire kids all over to grow a garden. And by the way, we're growing our food here at our Gigi's Wellness Cafe. So everything that we grow, we will eat from the garden to table. And just being able to have the kids out in the garden and understand what food is really about, how it nourishes our body and how to grow it. And just because they're our future generation. And if we don't start now, can we imagine what that looks like, years to come? And we need to also, for me, I want to leave my carbon footprint where this generation would have what, by words I want to look for, that this generation can sustain, because if we don't, there's nothing left for them.
Yes.
Period. There's nothing left for them to look forward to.
Yeah.
And get back to the basics, and this is the way to do it, and just being that inspiration. I think that a lot of times we want to give our kids things and we want to give our grandbabies things. I think that we should give that by showing them, by living the way. And then they look at us and say, oh, I want to be inspired by that.
Yeah.
I would like to do what that person is doing, because that person is really doing something that is sustainable, helping this world, more humanitarian. That's what I want my little babies to be.
Yes.
That's what I would like for them.
Yes.
Do something in a way that's going to help other people and not just themselves.
That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what we're here for, to serve.
Yes. Yes.
Serve.
So I want to tell everyone, all of our listeners, what you have going on so that we can support your business. The first one is, and this is how I came to you, was Gigi's kale chips. Yes. I bought my first bag right before I bought baseball game. I am addicted to the spicy kale chips. You have spicy, cheesy barbecue. They're oil-free. They're gluten-free. They are absolutely delicious. And in Kansas City, you can get that at several grocery stores. Are you shipping those as well?
Absolutely. We have a website, www.gigiscalechips.com. You can order them online, or you can come to Gigi's Wellness Cafe, 1103 Westport Road, and pick them up. Starting July 16th, we will be open. That is my birthday. That's why that's so significant date.
Yes.
You can pick them up here as well. Nature Zone, which they have 2 locations, Westport and 5th Street. And within a few months, we'll be in Whole Foods. So we're really excited.
That's exciting. Yeah. That's exciting. And of course, you mentioned your cafe in Westport, Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe, June 16th, coming right up.
July 16th.
July 16th. Yes. And then your 21-day detox where you trick people into being vegan. We're all excited about that.
And that's coming up the first week in August. So that's going to be, we have a great class coming up. And this year, the class will be online. Usually you would come to different space, and we will have a class together with roughly about 20 and 30 people. But we're going to do it virtual. So make sure the information goes up, and look forward to, are you going to be in the class this year?
I think I might join in. I think it sounds wonderful.
Why not join? Yeah,
absolutely.
Super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Gigi, thank you. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here, and again, have a way that we can get the word out and spread the word and the positive things that you guys are doing. It's simply amazing, and I want to congratulate you for that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure to speak with you. Will you come back? Will you come back and update us?
I will.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And I just want to tell you one more thing. Happy birthday, gorgeous.
Oh,
Right up. Yes. And I know it coincides. That's a significant date for you, July 16th.
yes, and then it's a celebration. I always say it's a celebration of my mom and dad, technically.
I love it. Yes.
Right?
It is.
I celebrate them.
Absolutely. I celebrate them too. The world's better with you in it.
Oh, you as well.
Thanks. And that's a wrap. We would be so grateful to you if you would subscribe and leave us an honest feedback. We want to hear from you. We will post the important links in today's show on our website. And until next time.
Peace.
Bye. Yay.